he's a fairly attractive looking guy and he's making a lot of money. He's high status. Shouldn't he not be crawling with women?
If you're drugging people and doing stuff like that. I mean, like paying for people is also not great, but like drugging people is a whole different level. Why would you get married without the depth? If it's just a transaction, that's the only thing I could think of.
That's 80% of marriages, right? That's all I'm saying. I'm not going to be mean.
She's a gold digger. She's outright said that. But at the same time, I guess what I'm trying to understand is like some of these celebrity people that really don't have a hard time getting women, but they still seem like they get into these sort of situations. Like,
well, look, I think I think a lot of people assume that a lot of celebrities don't have a hard time getting women, right? Because I think a lot of celebrities, right? It may be true that they don't have a hard time with women initially being attracted to them. Mm-hmm. But it doesn't mean they know how to talk to a woman. It doesn't mean that they have any kind of game. It doesn't mean they can keep a woman attracted or her interest level, right? Because, hey, when you get a new car, it's new. It smells new. It looks new. But that lasts for about a month. And then it's not a new car anymore, right? It doesn't have that same feeling. And, hey, a lot of women, they might date some celebrity and be like, oh, this guy's hot. He's this, whatever, famous and whatever. After a month or so.
So they're just leasing each other?
What I'm saying is that some of these guys, I think that they pay for women because that's how you keep them, right? Because because they're running through. They're not necessarily, well, even when you look at like the scandals, right? Mm-hmm. It's like, all the celebrity scandals that are going on with the Me Too movement, when that happened and all that stuff. It was like, some of these guys are like, why the hell would this guy, like, what was the guy that was on the Today Show or talk show, or, the newscaster?
Matt Lauer?
Yeah. He's high status. He's an attractive looking guy, right? I mean, maybe not the most, but he's a fairly attractive looking guy and he's making a lot of money. He's high status. Shouldn't he not be crawling with women, right? Like, so
wasn't he married?
I don't even know, but even still, like, does he have to like use intimidation factors or drugs or whatever he did, or to coerce women to be with him? He shouldn't have to, right? There's a lot of guys like this, right?
It's a red flag,
right? Heck,
like there must
Mike Tyson got accused
with
before, and stuff. Whatever the truth is behind that, but what I'm saying is that there's a lot of guys that you're like, why would this guy need to drug a woman? It doesn't seem like it, but they do because they must, right? That's what I'm saying. Is like we make this assumption that just because someone is a celebrity or attractive, that they have no problem with their dating life or relationships or getting what they want. But it's not the case.
But I think if you resort to those things, there is something wrong with you. Yeah. If you're drugging people and doing stuff like that. I mean, like paying for people is also not great, but like drugging people is a whole different level, because at least people are consenting. Like you said, it's a transaction with money. Right. But the other part, they're not.
But my point is, if these guys that you're like, they should have no problem with women, are drugging people, then it's no surprise that they're paying people. Right, that's what I'm saying. It's like that's what they're.
I mean, I guess so.
Like we just make this assumption that that it's just easy street for, and it's not necessarily. Again, like if you're a famous actor, or musician, rock star, whatever, you're going to have a lot more opportunities with women. But it doesn't mean that you know how to capitalize on them. It doesn't mean that you can sustain those relationships. It doesn't. I don't know. So.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense, but it's still just odd to me. Like, it's really...
It is odd.
It's better to do that than to just be alone and try.
It doesn't make a lot of sense to me either, so... But you see those arrangements. But you see it all the time, because also, the other thing that you see, right, again, but you see guys that are celebrity heartthrobs, right? And then they date some woman that you're like, why would you date this woman, right? Or they're married to some, and you're like, it just doesn't make any sense. But it does make sense, because even though, like, obviously that's what they're able to get,
Wait, so you think that's what they're able to get, and that they don't like just love her for who she is?
Mean, I'm not saying that's not the case in all the cases, but for the most part, yeah, that's true. Because why were they even like, in order to fall in love with someone, you have to date them first, right? Mm-hmm. So why would you not be dating the most attractive woman that you could, if you could? Right?
I mean, like, a lot of people talk about attractive women. That is about as far as they go, is because they rely so heavily on their looks that there isn't really anything deeper to them, which is a lot of times why people don't get into relationships with women like that. And I'm not saying all attractive women are like that, but that's also a factor too, is that like maybe there's not enough depth for a whole rest of your lifetime with that person, because that becomes the thing, right? Like, would a man rather marry a woman for how she looks and being hot and have to maintain that, which a lot of men would say yes, they would date women just because they look hot,
right?
Or marry a woman just because she looks hot, versus someone you actually love who might not be the hottest person you could get.
Right. Yeah.
So what is it? Like, which one is it? Like, is that why gold diggers sometimes end up with these guys, because they care more about their appearance and having a hot wife than actually having a conversation? Because
maybe
a lot of men are 80 years old married to people that could be their grandchildren.
Yeah, but not everyone's looking for the depth of relationship.
But why wouldn't you? Why would you get married without the depth? If it's just a transaction, that's the only thing I could think of.
That's 80% of marriages, right? So the depth.
I don't think it's 80%. I think 80% maybe don't have the depth, but 80% is not just
not just I'm just saying they don't have
love.
They just don't have the depth, right? It's like,
but it's not like just marrying the hottest person you could find.
No. But I mean, people are generally going to do the best that they can in that area, right? So it's going to be roughly within a ballpark, right? It's not going to be. Well, I'm saying when you see stuff that's way out of the ballpark, then you're like, okay, well.
I think the difference is that men would do that, and that women aren't looking to like get the hottest man. Because if he had everything else, but he wasn't the hottest man, like, she would pick that guy. Yeah, but I feel like
he's going to be in a ballpark though. So
men would pick the hottest woman,
some
as long as she's okay. Versus like a woman who treats him like a king, but isn't the hottest woman.
Yeah, and men make that choice sometimes, and then they regret that choice because it's a bad choice. So
right. So I think men should listen up, that you should go for someone that you actually have a good connection with, even if she's not the hottest person you should get, could get.
Yeah. And sometimes women make the choice of picking the man that has the most money instead of
and I think that's also not smart.
And they regret that choice as well.
Right. So. Because the thing is that's why it doesn't work for both of the people, because deep down women want love and men want love. Like they act like whatever. That people will say that love's not enough. But the thing is, money's not enough. The thing is, looks aren't enough. Love is the only thing that is enough. And obviously, yes, you need to have other aspects to have a really good, successful relationship.
Right.
But the outside stuff, money can come and go. Looks, they go. They can also come and go too, but mostly they go.
Yeah, even if they don't, like, you become habituated to all of those things, right? That's why, like, what was her name on The Love Is Blind? The plastic boobs.
Brittany.
Okay. Like, she's dumb. I'll tell you why she's dumb. Because what she doesn't, she wants this lifestyle so bad, right? Mm-hmm. But again, it's like the new car. Once you're like fabulously wealthy and you're like, eating at what's the
Nobu
Chinese Laundry or whatever, like isn't that place, or what's the, I don't know, where Newsom ate when there was COVID lockdown.
Just say Nobu.
Whatever, Nobu, whatever, we only eat. But it becomes commonplace. It doesn't have the same feel that like eventually that becomes your life, and that becomes this mansion becomes the shithole that you live in now, right? It's like everything becomes normal. Mm-hmm. It doesn't, you're not always excited about that stuff, right? And so to trade the thing that is going to sustain you and that you are always excited about for the thing that temporarily is going to make you happy is stupid. That's why it's dumb, right? Mm-hmm. Because it doesn't matter whether it's looks or it's lifestyle and money, right? You're going to become habituated to that.
It's not sustainable.
Yeah, you're just going to become habituated to it. It's not going to have the impressive amount, what it was before. It's just like a new car.
Perfect, we start